people will say, like when I say organization, right? They'll be like, oh, what'd you do? Organize paperwork?
No.
I said, no, baby, I organize this life.
Period.
You understand a lot of where we are today is because of me.
Yep.
I never take nothing away from my husband. But literally, I remember when he first started Recession Proof and went into business, I felt like he was doing everything wrong. And I'm like, why are you doing it like this? There's so many ways. And I'm in college. You know what I mean? I'm a college graduate. You know, we think a little different. So it's like, 1 and 1 is always 2.
Yeah.
Just for somebody who has an entrepreneur brain, 5 and 7 is 50. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like they don't think on the same spectrum when it comes to things like that. So I just feel like that in itself helped build us to where we are, not just only in business, but in love and in life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, where things have to make sense.
Yes.
You know, where a lot of things don't. You know what I mean? It's like what, for the both of us, is like everything has to make sense.
Yes.
And if it doesn't make sense, then why are we paying attention to it? Why are we investing in it? Why? And it has to make sense to both of us.
Yeah. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of It's Giving. I am your host, Sarah Fontenot, and if you have not yet, please hit that button below so you can get subscribed. Hit that little bell so you get a notification with each new piece of content, because every week we are committed to bringing you guys gems, okay? Now, y'all at home have completely changed the way that we curate this show with your questions, with the things that you're submitting, the videos that you're sending in. Like, literally the whole message of our show has shifted, so thank you guys at home. If you want to get enrolled, make sure to hit that little newsletter below. And today we're not going to upset you, okay? I'm telling y'all how y'all changed some things. This guest on my show, for the first time ever, changed the side of the couch that I am on, okay? This has never happened in the history of things. She is a serial entrepreneur. She is a boss babe. She is a wife. She is a mother. She is out here creating access for so many people, especially women, to really tap into their divine femininity, be that woman that can call in a wife, and be that boss babe. Can we please give it up for Turquoise? Also known as her 500.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a dope introduction. I got to run that back again.
You know. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
And I have to ask you, because this is always the first question of the show, and then we're going to dive in. If this season of your life were called It's Giving blank and you had to fill in the blank, what would it be called? And you have to say it's giving.
It's giving me.
Oh.
That's it. That's all.
Okay.
I am in a time of a celebration of me.
Yes.
Everything has to do with me.
Yes.
For a long time, I didn't know what it meant to self-serve, to be of service for myself. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's giving a season of me.
I love that. I love that. And I have to ask you, because I feel like, especially like in the melanated community, it's almost looked down upon if you put yourself first.
It's definitely frowned upon.
Yeah. And so I would love to know, how do you manage that? Like, do you have the people around you that are like, oh, you're being selfish? Or are you so in a realm of like, no, everybody kind of run your race? Like, how do you deal with that?
You know, I fall on deaf ears.
Come on.
Right? You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter how you feel or what you say. It's all about me. So I intentionally block those things out.
Come on.
And because I have to, you know what I mean? Especially in this space, in my home with children, like everybody, it's like, okay, no, I'm not doing this today.
Yeah.
I have this to do today.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But of course the kids and, you know, things take priority in some sense, but for the most part, that's why I say it's giving me.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so I have to ask you, because for those that do not know, you are an ultra successful, I believe, high value, high earning, feminine woman, but also you can be, you know, a boss babe needs some masculinity too.
Yes, yes.
How do you balance between being, you know, the wife at home and the boss in the business?
It's crazy because I get asked that question a lot. And a lot of times it's like surface level, right? It's like, what do you want to hear? Why are you asking? Or are you trying to run the same race? You know what I mean? Because if you really want to get into it, I'm going to let you know what it really is.
Come on.
If you don't want to hear it, don't ask me, because I'm not that type of person. I don't put out that type of energy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So in any case, I always say that there's no such thing as a balance. It's priority. And I say it all the time. And I say that because when we think about balance, we think about everything that we can do equally. And a lot of times something is going to take precedence over the other, right? No matter what it is. So first and foremost, who comes first is the children, right? Like, what do they have to do? What are their schedules like? Okay, basically we kind of work around them, right? And then it's the husband, you know what I mean? Because in order for him to operate in his full capacity of leadership, I have to be of service and make sure that realm is running sufficiently, right? Ooh. So in any case, that's how my operation for what I see runs. And then I can continue to do what I do. Yes. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I give myself a good Sunday and a good Wednesday.
Okay.
To look, I don't have anything on my schedule. I don't have nothing, or I don't want to have anything unless we have a prearranged like event. We have one coming up this Sunday, called the Forum. But in any case, if it's not that, it's strictly the children and husband.
Yes. Yeah. That's so powerful, because I also feel like we live in a world where I don't think that men, and it's so funny because in this day and age, it's like men want these women that are like super feminine and tend to their needs and all of these things. But then they also want them to be like these 50-50 women that are out here making the money. And it's so much to do. Like it's a lot. It's heavy.
It's a lot.
It is so heavy. So to prioritize your priorities, and it's literally like family, God and family first. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Right.
And then work comes afterwards.
And then work comes after, because the money, it's going to come. Right. You know what I mean? I see it's going to come. You do the work, it's going to come. But everything else, you set the foundation for. Yes. You build, you figure that out. You set the rules, you set the tone, you set everything in your life up for that, because that's strictly on you. Like I said, the money's going to come. We can set up systems. We can hire people. We can do everything. I can't hire anybody to raise my children. Ooh. I can't hire another wife to be a wife to my husband. Ooh. You know what I mean? Yes. And won't.
And won't.
You know what I mean? Like, those things are solely provided by me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I have to figure that out. And then when it comes to, just to hone in on what you said about men want, these super feminine women and then want us to go 50-50. It's like, do you know yourself? Yeah. Like, do you really know what you want, or have you ever had it to know that that's something that you want or need? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what's a feminine woman? Like, what is somebody who cooks and cleans and, okay, but she got to pay bills too? Like, no.
Yeah. So do you believe in a 50-50 household? I got to ask.
I knew you was going to ask.
I have to ask you.
I don't know if you see me arguing with somebody under your comments. Hold on.
Right.
Right.
Let's talk about it.
I believe that you should honestly do what works for your household. Yes. Right. And I say do what works for your household because sometimes you may be in a position to where you don't have to work. You know what I mean? Like, and he's okay being a provider, but the man has to be okay with being a provider. You can't come in or step in a situation and say, well, this is what you need to do. Well, if he doesn't want to do it, then what options do you have? Right. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of have to pull your weight if you want to. Yes. Everything is choice. And I tell everybody the greatest thing that we have in life are option and choices. If we don't have nothing else, we have options and we have choices. Yes. Me and Marcus, we started out 50-50. Because we had to, right? Like, I worked. He told me he was never getting a job. Oh my God. And I thought that was the weirdest thing when he was like, I'm never getting a job. But he never said he would never work. You know what I mean? Yes. So in my head and how we're trained and conditioned, it's like, okay, well, if you don't got a job, then who's the provider, or how we going to eat, or you want to have kids too? Right. No, but he never said he wouldn't work. Yeah. He just said he wouldn't have a job. So he worked and he worked hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? So in any case, we started out 50-50. I would pay all of the bills and he would pay the rent. And then we bought our first home. He paid the mortgage. So that's how it was until we got in a position to relinquish that, because I couldn't be of service to this home if I had to go to work. Ooh. And he's somebody who understood that initially, just he wasn't in position.
Wait, we have to pause and we really got to hone in on that, because I feel like there are a lot of men that expect their women to be these Susi homemakers and at the same time have capacity to also be in the workforce.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
so what is the exit strategy? So how did
Is
y'all—
there one? Is there one?
Period.
You know, my husband told me that if I don't stop working, our business will fail.
But that speaks to the woman you are too.
Yeah.
Because every
It was
woman
hard.
can't take on the woes of their husband, plus their business questions,
Mhm.
plus getting advice, plus having their best friend, plus
Yeah.
having their lover. Like we
Yeah.
as feminine women, it is such a superpower.
It is a superpower.
Yes.
It's a superpower a lot of people don't recognize or even give us the praise for.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
it's like we're supposed to be in your head operating in the space. And it's like, no, because everybody doesn't have that gift.
Yes.
I call it a gift because we're women who wear many hats, or who
Yes.
can. A man could never do it. I'm sorry. A man could never do it. You know what I mean? So it took me a long time because I'm an only child, and I was raised by a militant father. So it was no, you don't go to work, you don't protect yourself, you don't provide for yourself. It's always your value in any situation is what you can bring to the table.
Yes.
In all forms. But I was never taught the other side. I didn't have a mother. So I didn't know about marriage. I didn't know about monogamous relationships. I didn't know about being in love, none of that. My dad was always, you take care of yourself, you figure it out. If I die, what you gonna do, right? So I'm like, oh gosh, you know what I mean? So even getting in this position to when he said that, it's like, okay, well, I'll just do per diem.
Yeah.
You know, at Kaiser, like, I'll just do per diem. And he was like, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So it crushed me because I'm like, I have to be solely and financially dependent on a man. I've never done that before. I don't even know what that feels like. I don't even know if it exists for real.
Right.
Because how we grew up, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being from Northern California, it's unheard of.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like when we were operating in those roles, I was like, I don't know if I felt weak, valueless, because I didn't understand or know my value at the time. You know what I mean?
The intangibles.
Yes. And because nobody, like, there wasn't a layout. You know what I mean? There's no book for it, of course, but it wasn't a layout. Like, if you do these things, then you'll be rewarded with these things.
Yes.
Or this is how you do this, or this is how you fall in line. It's like, okay, I just did what I felt was right. So I cook, I clean, I take care of the kids, I pick them up, I drop them off, I make sure, you know, they're in Kumon, I make sure they have the right tutors, the right after school activities. Okay, well, I make sure all his stuff is dry cleaned, all the bills are paid, the taxes are done. You know what I mean? Like, everything is in line, so he didn't have to worry about anything but working, because it's what he desired and wanted to do. And in hindsight, I realized that I assisted and led him to leadership, and he assisted and led me
to follow him. Yes.
To submission.
Yes.
And I never knew what that meant in its capacity, because everybody has different, you know, definitions of what submission is. But I didn't know that side. Like, I never desired to be married. I never desired to have kids.
Wow.
I just felt like that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not going to be my life. Like, I look at everybody else's situation. I don't want that. I don't want that life. But we lived in California to where, you know, it's for the birds, toxic. And I'm not saying everybody, but just from where we were from.
Yes.
I just didn't want that. So when I got it, it was scary, because I'm like, this is really happening. I didn't pray for it. I didn't ask for it. This is what God wanted for me. Run that race.
Wow.
Just go.
But you know, it is so beautiful. It's like, oftentimes we as people, when we get something and it feels really good, but we're kind of scared to have it.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we might self-sabotage it.
Yeah.
So it's really beautiful that you went the opposite direction.
Yeah.
You said, I am scared of this thing, but
I'm
I'm
gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
And you know, if it fails, it fails. If it wins, it wins. Where did that mindset even come from?
So as far as failure, it's crazy that you just said failure, because my therapist, or a therapist, excuse me, she asked me, she's like, are you scared to fail? Or have you been ever afraid to fail? I said, I don't even use the word failure. I just see it as it just didn't work out.
Learning lesson.
Yeah, look, it didn't work out and it wasn't for me. So let me try something else. It's always been that for me.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of that confidence, that fire, that sass, it comes from my father. Because he was raising a daughter, and it's a full masculine form, if you would call it. You know what I mean? He didn't know anything else. He lost his parents at 16. So just raising a child, like I was raised on survival. Like, what are the things I'm going to do to survive if I have nobody else? Do I have the tools? Do I have the mindset? Do I have everything in line for me to survive if no one else is around? So that's how he raised me. You know what I mean? So it's like, people are like, damn, where does that come from? And I have to think about it. You know, when we think about our childhood and, you know, traumas, if you wish, or something like that, it's like, oh, I never thought of it that way. But yeah, that's the only answer that I would have, is that it came from my upbringing. It's just that. And plus, I ain't scared of nothing anyway.
I know,
like,
that's right. We gonna do
I'm
our
gonna do
best.
it.
Yeah, we gonna
I'm
do
gonna
it.
do
We
it.
gonna
And
go keep
if it don't
going.
work, you know
It's
what I
all
mean?
good. But did you die? You know, like
Right.
that's kind of where I'm at this
Did you
point.
die?
Right.
No, I'm
we're
still here.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. Like I'm just so inspired. And that's one thing, Turquoise, that I love about you, girl. Like one thing I've noticed from the beginning, the first time we ever had a real conversation was like, you stand on business.
Yeah.
Like you own who you are.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, I just appreciate your authenticity.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
and your clarity on who you are, because more women need that. You know, like, and what I love about that is because I know, well, you may know me not, I'm an avid reader. Like I love to read. And
I can tell by the words that you speak.
Oh, thank you. You know.
I can tell, like, oh, she definitely reads books
girl,
now.
I'll be in these books, girl. I'll be in these books. So what I love is, you know, we hear a lot about masculinity and femininity. And the truth is we all have both, and we know that. But there's a spectrum, right? So David Data in The Way of the Superior Man talks about the masculinity. The most masculine men still have 10 to 20% femininity because you need femininity. It's nurturing. Yes, it's cooing. It's creative. It's all of these
call
fun,
that vulnerability too.
Yeah, and it's important for us to be that in order for us to be human. And us for women, we need to be a little bit masculine, or we would be starving if we were single.
Absolutely.
Like no jobs, no achievement.
It's a wolf in there somewhere.
Period.
It's a dog in there somewhere. You have to be.
I have to say this because we had an episode and Anissa asks me questions and she said, would you ever be with a murderer? And I was like, why does he murder? You know,
was it murder for hire?
Yeah,
Did someone touch? What happened there?
Break it down. But for me, high key, low key, high key.
Yeah.
I want to know, could you do it if you needed to?
Yeah.
Like I feel safe inside of that.
Yeah.
And maybe you've never done it before, but if stuff hits the fan,
yes,
baby, do you got the darkness?
Are you going to run before I do? Because I know I'm willing.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm willing
Yeah.
to die for mine.
Yeah.
I can't be with a man.
But that's my husband though.
I
like
love that.
literally, like you take that suit off, it's somebody different. And I love it. Yeah. And it's so attractive. Sometimes I'll be like, boy, shut up. But then it's like, yeah, like, you know, I get all excited, like I'm the chihuahua behind the big dog, because you do have to have both, because then that comes in a form of security, safety. Yes. Am I safe with you? Am I secure with you? Will you protect me?
Yes.
Not protect me. I mean, protect me from the dogs that's out there, because you know they coming to get me.
Oh, all
and
the time.
I've never had to worry about that with my husband.
Yes.
Like he protects me from family. He protects me from friends, even if we're at odds with that. Like, no, you're a little too far. He sees things that I don't, because he's very analytical and he pays attention. Like oh my God, to every piece of did you see that? Did you see this? Did you hear it? I'm like, boy, ain't nobody worry about that. You know what I mean? Like, what they gonna do?
Right,
you
right.
know,
Yes.
What's gonna happen?
Yes.
But you know, but that's him. But he's full blown armor. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
That's
I
beautiful.
have to have that.
Yeah.
Because I could be a loose cannon a little bit.
Oh, girl.
So it's like sometimes he like, just sit down. Just sit this one out.
Right,
okay.
right.
Just
you ain't got to take this battle.
Erase those comments. Like, just stop. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? But just know.
Yes, period. That was my dad growing up. I always say, like, I have this stark memory of being at Mosaic back home. There's this thing called Mosaic where all the different cultures in the city, they have their own pavilion. And you have the dance and the food and the entertainment, and it's a lot of fun.
It's called Mosaic?
Well, in the city it's called Mosaic.
Oh, okay.
But ours was the Caribbean pavilion.
Okay.
So I grew up doing Caribbean dance and all of the different. My mom was a dance teacher, and I'm not even Caribbean, which is hilarious. But anyway,
that was my next question.
Yeah, no, not
where
at all.
did it come from?
right. No, but it's hilarious because I remember my dad was a security guard at the event, and my mom kind of like ran the whole everything. She was a dance. She was just in the community all the way. And my dad is 6'8". 350 pounds, light skin, freckles. Don't play with him.
Okay,
you know,
I've seen him.
Yeah.
I've seen
like
him.
don't play.
He
with
looked
this
like
man.
he about that life.
He about that life.
No,
for real.
he looked like he about that. Oh, this is different.
Right? You would not see it coming.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember my dad was kicking everybody out at the end of the night. And he's like, y'all ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the bartenders was trying to holler at ladies and he went off on my dad. I'm walking beside my dad and he's like, hey, you think you could just, and I went on, eight-year-old Sarah.
Yeah.
Don't you ever disrespect your elders that way, bro. I'm going.
And
off.
that's my daddy.
Period.
Yeah.
But I only had that boldness because my dad was there.
Yep.
He was the Rottweiler behind the Chihuahua.
Yeah.
You know? And so I need that like if I do go off, can you reel me in?
Right.
Or if they do come, can you protect
Like, are
me?
you strong enough to or even comfortable enough to?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, do you trust yourself enough?
Period.
You know what I mean? To do that, because that shows how confident you are in your masculinity.
Yes.
If we call it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, if you can't do that, then I'm gonna always be a loose cannon.
Yeah.
It's not, we won't make it.
Yeah.
Like, we will not. I need that.
Yes.
It doesn't work.
Okay, so I have to ask you, because you're high value.
Mhm.
Marcus is high value. What do you think are some of the intangibles that you brought to the table that you either have discovered, that you learned, or you always had to solidify your marriage with y'all?
I say organization.
Okay.
Is the biggest one for me.
Mhm.
Especially for somebody like him who's been chaotic since we met in
Mhm.
every form, facet. I mean, with paperwork, with cars,
A lot of
like,
big, by the way.
you know what I mean? You name it. What else?
While you're thinking of it, I literally am like, that's masculinity. Masculinity does work, do the work, till the field, do the thing, get it done, achievement, go here, go here. They're not looking at how they're like, just keep going. They're not looking back here to see how it's organized.
No.
But when you have that woman behind you that's like catching, this goes here, catching, this goes there, catching, these go together, catching, then it's really like a unit.
But that's one of the biggest things. And then people will say, like, when I say organization, right? They'll be like, oh, what'd you do? Organize paperwork?
No.
I said, no, baby, I organize this life.
Period.
You understand, a lot of where we are today is because of me. I never take nothing away from my husband. But literally, I remember when he first started Recession Proof and went into business, I felt like he was doing everything wrong. And I'm like, why are you doing it like this? There's so many ways. And I'm in college. You know what I mean? I'm a college graduate. You know, we think a little different. So it's like, 1 and 1 is always 2.
Yeah.
Just for somebody who has an entrepreneur brain, 5 and 7 is 50. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like they don't think on the same spectrum when it comes to things like that. So I just feel like that in itself helped build us to where we are, not just only in business, but in love and in life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, where things have to make sense.
Yes.
You know, where a lot of things don't. You know what I mean? It's like, what, for the both of us, is like everything has to make sense.
Yes.
And if it doesn't make sense, then why are we paying attention to it? Why are we investing in it? Why? And it has to make sense to both of us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a middle ground.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed?
All the time.
Okay. How do you?
That's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate, I ain't getting, No. See, stop with the fluff, okay? It is normal and okay to be overwhelmed with life,
Yes.
with relationships,
Yes.
with friendships, with kids, with work, with yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Putting a lot of pressure on yourself. You know what I mean? And I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I put a lot of pressure on myself. Crazy. Oh my God. The therapist. She was like, is there a time that you ever just relax? And I'm like, what is that?
Right.
Like, what is, you know what I
understand.
mean? To somebody, she was like, so when you get in the bed and you're just laying there, like, what do you do? And I said, well, shit, I'm thinking about everything that I have to do. What's next? What's scheduled for the kids? Oh, is Marcus leaving or coming? Did I book the ticket? Did I do this? Oh, damn, the water bill needs to be paid. So I'm thinking about all these things. And she was like, well, where does that come from? And I said, well, what do you mean? She was like, well, where does that come from? Who put that pressure on you? Because it's nobody around you. So who put that pressure on you? She's like, as you were growing up, can you think about what's the first person that comes to mind? I said, my dad. And she was like, well, tell me a little bit about that. I said, because I could never do nothing. I always had to be doing something, or I would be penalized for not doing anything. Like, I remember I was 22, messed up my credit so bad. He had to co-sign for me a car, and he ripped me to shreds.
Ooh.
ripped me to shreds. He was like, well, obviously you don't have a decent job because you can't afford what I've told you not to get anyways. I've told you not to do these things. It's always, what are you doing? How are you doing it? What are you doing? Remember I told you it was always about survival. So I never in my life got the opportunity to just
rest.
Like without thinking about nothing or nobody but me. Yes. You know what I mean? Even when I didn't have children, I don't remember a time where it was like, you know what? I'm going to just sit and do nothing. I don't even know what that feels like. I don't know what it is, even when we're on vacation.
Yes.
It's not a vacation.
Yes.
We working somewhere, somehow, and then I have kids, so I haven't got a real good night's sleep since I had my first one 12 years ago. Right. You know what I mean? So what's embedded in my brain, it's like I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah.
And when you was like, how do you manage that? It's I don't. You know what I mean? And it's priority too. You know what I mean? Do I get sleep? I wear this Whoop now to where it tracks my sleep because I realized I wasn't getting more than 3 or 4 hours of sleep.
No.
I wasn't getting more than 3 and 4 hours of sleep. I would literally go to sleep at 1 and wake up at 5. It was like my body would just naturally wake up, or at 6. Yeah.
Ooh, I can't function with no sleep, girl.
Yeah, but I can.
Wow.
And I do my best work under pressure.
I do my best work under pressure.
You know what I mean? It's
but
like
no sleep is different.
Yeah,
do you sleep better now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm more intentional about sleeping. Like, you know what, Turk, turn off the phone.
Yeah.
Get in the bed at this time so I have this amount of sleep.
Yep.
I know if I get a good 6 hours, 6.5, I'm okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then not try to take a nap. You know, the older you get, the more you want to nap.
Yes. Yes, girl, yes.
You know, and not, you know what I mean? And not try to take a nap. But I'm so busy every day, like my life doesn't warrant me a nap. Yes. Only in the morning after I drop off the kids. Once I pick them up and everything else is done, it's go time until about 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sheesh.
Operating on that machine every day.
I love that's so freeing though, that it's like, yes, of course I feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I keep it going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I will say now I'm in a space where I do my best. I had a day the other day where I didn't do anything.
It felt good, right?
When I tell you, people calling me, I just look at my phone and put it back down.
Because what do you really want at this time of peace?
I don't want nothing. Yeah. I don't want to be, because sometimes like I'm an energy person. I choose to have like positive energy, bubbly. Yeah. I choose every day. I choose it. But sometimes I don't want to be any kind of on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to
every time I've been around you, your smile doesn't change either.
Thank you.
And your energy doesn't change. Your tonality, you're never too loud. You're never too soft. You know what I mean? Girl, it's always this right here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's intentional, but it's because now I have to take that time for myself.
It's control, self-control.
Yes.
You've learned self-control.
Yes.
That's what that is. I control my day. I control how I operate my day. And if I don't want to, I will not.
Yes.
If I want to, I will.
Yes.
That's powerful. And people don't understand that. Is mentally you have to know I am in control of me. No one else is. Mm-hmm. So what am I going to do today that's going to make me okay?
Yeah.
Because it's only you, nobody else.
Girl, and that's that. And I had the best day. I was having a conversation with and even like people when they call me on the phone, I'll be like, oh, they'll see. Like, cause you know, I might be just a hot mess in the bed.
So, but you feel good.
And I feel great. My mama will FaceTime me. She's like, oh, you're resting? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll call you back. It's been fun. You gotta go. So, leave me alone. Yes, like literally, unless it's like, and we have a rule in my family, if we call 3 times, answer the phone. That means emergency.
Yeah.
That's the only way, really.
Okay.
Other than that, or my parents. Yeah. Other than that, no.
But you start taking ownership in that once you got older.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because we have to.
Yeah.
Like
nobody's
going to
do it for us. Yeah. Nobody's going to do it for us.
When you ain't got nothing to give, there's nothing worse than trying to muster up nothing for everything. You know? And if you just
But you will have some of those days too, to where, look, I have nothing to give you, baby. I'm sorry. I barely got to give it to myself right now.
That was me the other day.
I'm tired.
Yeah. And I had a rest day.
Yeah.
And I need you.
And it refueled your energy. Yes. And look at you today.
Yeah. And you know what? I got to say, prayerfully, like when I'm married, or if or when I'm married, if God sees fit.
You want to be married?
I don't know.
Look at me taking your spot over here.
Oh, girl, you took my seat.
Look at me taking your seat over here.
I desire to be married, and I'm not going to rush to do it wrong.
Okay.
Because in my last experience, I was Russian and it was very wrong.
Oh, so you were married before?
No, I've been engaged 2.5 times.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of the times I used to want to be married because I thought I was supposed to be married. But now that I'm looking at men differently, like it actually matters who you are and how you are.
Absolutely.
Now I'm like, well, there's some things. And sometimes people are absolutely incredible, but we're just not in alignment.
Yeah.
And then there's that aspect of things, you know?
People want to be compatible. They look for compatibility. And honestly, sometimes that's not, we're two different people.
Yes.
How are we supposed to be compatible? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Like, what does that say?
Yeah.
Like, we can't be too compatible because it won't work. I don't want anybody
then
like
it's
me.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want that. So when people talk about marriage, it's like, realistically, know yourself first.
Yes.
Get all that, do exactly what you wanted to do in life first.
Yep.
Because once you get married,
it
half of you
kind of dies.
Gone. It is. I had an identity crisis.
Did you?
Yeah, my first year of marriage. It took me a year to change my name. Like, I wouldn't change them on the credit cards. Like, my husband had to get on me so bad. Like, because he noticed it.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, with that ring I got you,
right.
all this other stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I not deserving?
Yeah.
Am I not deserving for you to take my last name?
But it's
and
really,
I'm like, it don't have nothing to do with
him.
You.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm losing a part of me and I don't know how to give that up. You know what I mean? Like, comfortably to where I can fully relinquish, and it's just a name.
Yeah.
But to me, my name is everything. My name is my identity.
Yes.
Like, I'm that serious about it. You know what I mean? So when I did it, I'm like, so who am I now?
Yeah, and you had to find a new person.
Yes, I had to find a new
version.
And I did.
Yeah.
In its full capacity, because everybody back home was like, you've changed for the better.
Yes. Thank
they
you
said,
for noticing.
You changed. That's what I said. Thank you. Love you guys.
Yeah.
You've changed and woo this and woo that. And I'm like, I guess, I did change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but that's why I said when you're married, just be prepared to, because relationships, yeah, that's one thing. But when you're married, it's completely different. And I hear people say, oh, it's just a piece of paper. I said, no, to you, it's a piece of paper. Marriage is a lot deeper than that, but you have to know yourself.
Yes.
And now you have to learn and know another person.
Yeah.
You've been with yourself for 30 plus years.
Yes.
Now imagine this person that you just been with for a year,
I know.
2 years. It's a whole nother ball game.
And the type of wife I desire to be, I know parts of me will die because kind of like you, I have a servant's heart. I desire to recklessly trust my husband's leadership, like recklessly. Where are we going? What we doing?
Yes.
Like if he were to say literally, babe, I love you and I think that you are amazing. You are amazing. But the craziest part about it is that you got to stop doing your podcast. I'd be like, oh, okay, let's talk about it. Let me. He might need me to come help over here, and this might be taken up
to me. I just told you the story.
Yes,
you have to stop working. All I know is this: like, this was my dream job, to get in Kaiser. You know what I mean? To be in a management position. Like, this is what I work for. This is what I went to college for.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And to tell me that I can no longer, to have somebody else tell me that and I have to answer to it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I have to answer to somebody else. So, but if he said you have to quit your podcast because of this, like it just can't warrant where you got to quit.
Right.
Well,
why? Like for what?
I don't want to.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's how you trust in somebody's leadership, because there's always a reason and it's for the better.
Yes.
Look, it's just not for you. It's just not for me. It's for us.
Yes.
If you do that, I can fully trust your hand in this, because you're not being selfish. You're being selfless. And it only helps us.
It's for the good of the colony.
Yes.
So yes, I do desire to be married, but like the level of leadership has to be so there.
But what does that look like
for me?
Yeah. Like when we say the level of leadership. Because there's different levels depending on who you are.
I know. And the worst part is I've healed my way out of a lot of relatability, I think, also.
Okay.
And my dating pool is a period. It's not a pool. It's so small.
I would think it would be a broad, because
no, because I'm no nonsense.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like now don't get me wrong. I have some incredible experiences.
Yeah.
Like I'm currently having an amazing experience.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that. For
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm having the time of my life. And also I'm very clear that I just want to be sure. I want to feel really certain.
Yeah.
Like, whereas before I was so like, let's get married, let's get married, let's get married.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I just want to enjoy and see, like, who are we as friends, really?
Yeah.
And then if you get to be my lover,
coexist.
Yes. Do I even like you? Like, it's easy to love somebody.
I say that all the time.
Like, it's so easy to, I love you. But do I like you?
Yes.
So if I can't kick it, like, I want to be able to do like a book club with my person. I want to be able to lay in the bed and do nothing with my person.
Yes.
I want to be able to sit next to my person and not even say a word, but we're just in the same space. You know, I want to be able to laugh and joke, and then I want to be able to get fly and step out. I want my friend first.
Yeah.
And then also a lover.
Yes.
You know, so for me, because that's my vantage point and my perception, and leadership also looks like, do you know who you are and where you're going?
Absolutely.
With God.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have
because
that,
he's above all.
Yes. And if you don't have that core piece, I can't trust you as my partner. You could stay my friend.
Because who do you follow?
Yeah.
Who's your management? Who do you consult with?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Outside of me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, who is your higher power? Like, do you pray at least?
Do you pray?
You know what I mean? At minimum, do you pray? Like, I at least have to know that you pray. I'm not saying that you have to have a strong spiritual foundation. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't. We grew up in different churches, and it got conflicting and confusing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I understand that. But at minimum, do you believe that there's a higher power?
Yes.
Do you believe that there's somebody that has their hand over your life who is responsible for you outside of somebody on this earth?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, do you believe in that? If you believe in that, fine, I could work with it.
Yes.
You know
I could work with that because you have integrity.
At minimum.
Yes.
At minimum.
Because a lot of
and character.
Girl, and a lot of men don't have either, to be honest. They really
don't. A lot of stupid ones.
Yeah.
You know, but not to call them stupid.
Well,
but,
it's a lot of men that think that they're in their masculine, but they're very heavily in their feminine, which, by the way, is not a bad thing. It's just a true thing. Like, I think people really got to own who they are and how they are.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can't expect me to be in my feminine and recklessly follow you and all. And I'm not saying for me, I'm saying this for most women, because honestly, I only date men that I could even see leading me, you know.
Say it again.
I don't waste no time. But I most men are requiring for women to do certain things, and it's like, well, are you at a level that has qualified yourself to require that of her?
And just because you have the title man doesn't qualify you to lead anything. You know what I mean? And I say it all the time because I feel like when we talk about men and masculinity and things like that, when men like, I'm a real man. Well, what makes you a real man? Or what is that? You define that for me.
Yes.
Not in everybody else's description, but to yours. Like, what is a real man to you? Okay, just like I thought everything is surface level. So no, unfortunately, you're not qualified to lead. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I'm qualified to be a mother. It doesn't mean I'm qualified to be a wife.
Period.
It doesn't mean any of that. You know what I mean? Like, there's qualifying things about your life that would even put you in that position or that box. Yes. When I first got married, I didn't feel like I was qualified to be a wife.
Wow.
I knew nothing about it. Like I knew people got married and stuff like that, but to actually know what that walk is like. You know what I mean? To have somebody to explain to me, especially your elders, baby, this is what you have to do. This is what men do. This is what women do. I didn't have any of those teachings. I knew nothing.
What?
I watched movies. I read a couple books and podcasts. And then once we start, getting bigger out here and then building friendships and that, it's like, okay, well, I can talk to you, girl, because you've been married for 20 years. How?
Right.
How does this work? Because I'm ready to blow his head off.
Period.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I'm just ready to go. And it's like hearing other people's stories. It's like, damn, you went through all that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you have to go through a storm to get to the sun? Like, I don't want to.
Kind of,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Right? Like, because you're with somebody who's, like me and my husband, we are from two different backgrounds. And when I say two, I mean two different backgrounds. We come from two different households, two different families. I was raised by my father. He was raised by his mother. You know what they say about those men who were raised by their mothers. You know what I mean? And my husband told me I would never date anyone who didn't have a father in their life. I'm like, oh, really? He was like, yeah. So he explained to me and broke it down. Like, this was at 27. He was telling me that. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, is that deep for you? Like, it was never that deep for me.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe I need to start seeing things a little differently. You know what I mean? Like, quit playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
quit playing. So it wasn't until I became a wife, I acted as a wife. You know what I mean? I tried as best as I could to relinquish everything I felt like I knew, because it was damn near a lie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like the things that, you know, I read or I watched on you know what, social media kills it all.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like when you're listening to people and then they feel like they're experts in that field, and it's like, no, that doesn't work for everybody
At all.
Like, so what group are you talking to?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's things for different groups. Like, you know, I have people send me something like, that don't work for me. Like, that's not how we operate over here
at all.
But that's what makes us high value. When I say we're in a high value relationship, is because we operate on our own terms in the highest regard.
Yeah.
For the best way we can do things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And in exclusivity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oof.
Like, I don't feel like there's nobody who can get close to Marcus, because he will literally chew your ass out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and should.
And should, right? And he's very particular with the level of access. You know what I mean? A long time ago, before, he wouldn't do business with women. Like, he would let them in the mentorship and things like that. But as far as peer to peer, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until he's like, okay, I think these are the things that we need to implement to bring both groups together, because I feel like women aren't comfortable with me, so I need you here.
Yeah.
You know, but need me.
Yes.
Here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we can facilitate these things together.
Which is so good. And that's one thing, and I've said this too, because like, I really need a man with some dog in him, for real.
Absolutely.
Like I this is, I don't know if I should say this on the internet or not, to be honest, but my truth is, like, I would want my man to be willing to, not wanting to, but willing to disrespect somebody else over me.
Absolutely.
Like, go to war
and I'm
for
okay
me.
with that.
I'm okay with that.
Tell her to go to hell.
And whoever, it could be her, him,
yes,
them,
your mama, your sister,
like,
everybody,
literally
your
go
cousins.
to war. Yes, go to war for me. But that's what people don't understand, that level of access. And I think too, my mind immediately, when it's like, he doesn't do business with women in the past, it's like, you also got to know yourself.
Absolutely.
Don't put, most successful people aren't successful because they're the smartest people, the best people.
Right.
It's because they don't put themselves around temptation.
Absolutely.
My focus is my focus. Get out my way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so I love that. And I think that there needs to be more of a focus about that, because so many people think that they're high value. Hell, I think I'm high value.
Right.
Somebody might be like, Sarah's trash. You know? Who knows? And to someone, I very well could be. Right. Because I know value is subjective.
From whose lens.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you one thing about me too. Depending on who you are, I might be, you know, like high strung or rigid. But it's like, no, I have standards and boundaries.
Absolutely.
You know, now we can have fun and a great time. Yes. But I'm not doing no low vibrational.
It stops there.
It stops there.
Me. Or a lot of people too be like, well, are you saying he's high value because he has money?
No.
I said, he didn't have no money when I met him. Do you understand me? Like,
he didn't want a job.
He said, I am not working. I mean, I'm not getting a job. Right. You know what I mean? Yes. So in any case, we had a lot of trying times. We built this together. And I'm like, that's what makes us high value, for what we've accomplished, what we've done in the midst of still doing it in its highest regard. Yes. Like I always tell people, my husband was rich when he was broke. You know what I mean? Because he carried himself that way. And that's another thing that makes him high value to me, is his standards for himself. It's how I treat myself. It's how I take care of myself. I care about the way I look. I care about the way my hair looks. I care about what environments that I'm going to. He doesn't go eat everywhere. Yes. And like I said, this is when he was broke. You know what I mean? Like, no, we're not going there, or we're not going to these places, or we're not hanging around these type of people. Like somebody like that. And I'm not saying every man isn't, but I've never met one. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm riding with this.
This is safe.
I trust this person because he trusts himself. And how he carries himself. And how he takes care of me. You know what I mean? He gave me everything when he couldn't give me anything. He had nothing to give. You know what I mean? But I didn't feel that way. I never felt like we went hungry without anything. We couldn't pay bills or nothing like that. Whatever had to be done, whatever he did, he made it happen. You know what I mean? Like I've never... Everything he promised me, he executed on. he hasn't failed me in any form for what he's promised.
Yes.
Now the other things that he'll know about, I'm like, damn, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
that's human.
knowingly, it was never any failed attempts, never any disappointments, anything like that.
That's beautiful.
And this was in the beginning.
Wow.
So this is also what made me trust to even put him in position of leadership.
Yes.
In walks of me.
Ooh, come on.
What I mean?
Yes. That's so good, Turk. That's so good.
You have to know your own power. That's why I
Yes.
tell people, like, before you go out here, and I mean, I think everybody should date. You know what I mean? Date as much as you
them all,
can.
sis.
Date them all. White, black, Asian, man. If you into women, do that too. You know what I mean? To see if you like it. But that's how you get to know yourself.
Yes.
What you like, what you don't like. You know what I mean? What you want to do if you want to be around this person all the time. If you like this person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people you just don't like, but they're cool and in certain environments. But like you said, can I lay with you? Can I sit here and we do nothing? But in our heads, we're doing everything.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, in a room full of nobodies, like, it's us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
that's ideal.
And people always ask, well, how do you trust his leadership? And I said, I never trusted his words. I trusted his actions.
Period.
You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing anybody can ever tell me that I believe. Everybody starts at zero in my life. You know, and I build them up, or they build themselves up, brick by brick. Yeah. And we do something, okay, well, there it goes. Okay, there goes another. Oh, okay, then we're here. You know what I mean? So that's how, it's not, guilty until proven innocent. Yeah. No, I mean, innocent until proven guilty. No, you are guilty.
Until proven,
I'm
the
until
opposite.
Proven innocent.
Ooh, girl, and I've taken some bumps and bruises. Friends, too. I go in, I give all the love, all the trust, and then it's like, oh, dang, that hurt.
Because to me, that causes more disappointment.
It does.
Right? Because I've given you everything, but you haven't showed me that you're even deserving of that. You know what I mean?
I've done that. I do it every time.
Yeah.
I keep trying to, like, now I was having this conversation. And what do you think about this? I feel like I'm in a space in my life. I was talking to my sister and she's asked a question. She has a Christian group called Sisters Evolve. And inside, shout out to you, Lauren, inside of Sisters Evolve, they ask these questions and they do these podcast things and all these different things. And she said, at this time in our life, what do you women think? It's all females. What do you women think about the saying, no new friends? And so she asked me, what do I think about it? And I'm like, honestly, I'm kind of on some no new friends. And not in the sense of like I can't have an acquaintance, but for me, friend is heavy. It means I'm there for you. It means if you need me, I'm showing up. It means that you're in my thought process. You're in my close proximity if you are my friend. So one, I don't really have capacity for a lot of new friends because I have my soul sister goddess tribe already. And it's like, that's a lot. Yeah. Plus my own life.
And that's enough.
That's
enough.
Yeah.
See, I'm different. You know how they be like, you know what? Day twos can be better than day ones.
Okay.
And I think all of it, like your answer is probably based on experience. Yeah. To where these new friends have, sabotage, evil in its highest form and highest capacity. You know what I mean? So your answer is, a lot of people's answers are going to be based on their experience, right? So that's where yours is from. Yeah. Mine's is a little different because new friends I've had great relationships with for who I allow in. Yes. Everybody's not allowed to be my friend.
Everybody is not allowed.
You know what I mean? I have more associates than I have friends.
Oh, me too, yeah.
I have, especially my girlfriends from back home. It's like we've been friends 15, 20 years. Like I still have friends that I've had from middle school, elementary school. Ooh. My best friend was my best friend in first grade. Yeah.
Right now?
Right now. Yeah. Yeah. And she runs our customer service department for our business. Yeah. So it's like, no, our HR exec, who's now the COO of our company. Yep. He was my high school. I met him when I was 15. Yeah. And he's been my best friend ever since. Love his wife, love his children, everything. So I do have those day ones and I have a lot of them. You know what I mean? That I do call friends. But they only get it because we grew up together. But they're not in the space that I'm in now. So a lot of times they don't understand it. I can't talk to them about it. It's different. You know what I mean? Yes. To whereas the ones I do call friends, which is about like maybe 2 or 3 of them. Girl. As far as my new friends, they understand and they get it. Yep. You know what I mean? So we built a bond off of this life. I still have the bond off of that life. You know what I mean? I moved out here in 2016. right? And everything that I've built, I've developed, the woman I've grown into, they haven't seen it. So they come down here often, right? But as far as my day-to-day operations and things like that, like a lot of times they get fanned out by social media too.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to think about it. That's why I'm like, new friends are necessary because they understand and know where you are.
That's true.
They're speaking to you where you are because of how you're presenting yourself. So your old friends know all the bullshit you done did, you know, been to jail, you know, did this and that. Like they was there for it all.
Right, yeah.
Those new friends don't know that, but they know this new person.
Yeah.
And fortunately and fortunately, you're always recreating yourself. No,
That's
there's
true.
no one person who ever stays the same forever.
That's very true.
Right? So in any case, those new friends get to see the glow, the glam, the flourish, the life, your podcast, my business. You know what I mean? There, we went to school together. Like I said, you was down from the dirt. You know what I mean? And we stick as thieves because I trust you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
New friends, you have to earn the trust. I've told you some things.
That's what I need to adopt.
Yes. It's all trust. You know what I mean? I can't call you a friend if I can't trust you.
I just
you know
be diving
mean?
Head first, girl.
Oh no, not me.
We
got to work.
Yeah,
we got to work, especially in this space. And you're in Atlanta. You know what I mean? It's different from California. I tell people all the time, like, nobody understands.
They don't get it.
They don't get it.
Oh,
like,
my God.
It is different.
It's so different.
It's different here. And you got to kind of know how to operate and maneuver here. And it's not seeing people for what they see, for what they show you. It's seeing people for who they are.
Yes.
And who they are is as soon as that camera turns off.
Yep.
I need to know you outside of this.
Girl.
And I tell people, I'm more peer-to-peer. I'm not for group. Because I need this.
I'm not for a group.
No,
you don't even see me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't be out the house. If I ain't got an event, if I'm not working, I'm with family. Yeah. I'm with friends.
Yeah.
I don't go out anymore. Yeah. Like, I'm not even really interested.
It's damn near traumatizing.
It honestly, I had, if you would have asked me the no new friends question a year ago, I would have been like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I have been, like, especially with women, and it's crazy because you have these, they seem like amazing women. And then I realized
till like camera goes off.
Girl, not even till the camera goes off. Folks be playing the long game. Women be playing the long game in friendships the same way they be playing the long game with these men. It is crazy. Like, I have never in my life, I'm a lot of things.
I didn't experience none of that till I got here.
Me too.
Like, seriously.
I swear to you, me too.
Maybe because I'm rooted and grounded where I'm from, so I knew what to look out for. I knew, but here I'm like, damn, for real? Like,
did not see it coming.
You just, you know what I mean?
Not.
Like,
literally threw me for a
but thank
doozy.
you for showing. To me, that's a blessing, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Imagine having that person in your life for 10 years where you can't get rid of them.
Oh,
I've had people, old friends like that. It's like I couldn't let them go because we spent so much time together, and all the that you did do, I overlooked it because I felt like we grew up together. We went to school together. Like, we did dirt together. Like, we done did a lot of things together. And now it's like, nah, I can't even trust who you are today. That's who you were. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I can't trust who you are. And a lot of people don't even talk about that. Like, releasing those long-term relationships, like that's a heartache in itself. It's like, I used to know you and I loved you and we was friends, like we was like this until
like thick as thieves.
What happened to you? Maybe it's something I didn't pay attention to. Maybe that's my fault.
Girl.
You know what I mean? But you gone now. So.
You gone.
Yeah.
You gone.
And,
thank you for the experience and for the times that we've had. But I honestly, like, I've never cried over a relationship. I broke up with every man I've ever been with. I've never been walked away from.
Good for you.
Yeah, girl. But so I've never, and I'm like, God, please don't let me experience heartbreak. I don't know what that would be like.
Yeah.
But I have experienced heartbreak with my friendships where I have been done wrong. And I don't understand. And I think I learned this from my therapist. My toxic trait is, if I don't know you, I don't care. Like, you could say anything about me.
We're not emotionally tied.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's like
nothing. It means nothing to me. You could call me broke, dumb, ugly, stupid. It literally,
it doesn't
I don't care.
affect me at all.
But when someone that I love and have invested in says something negative about me,
you cut me.
I want to understand why. And I had to learn inside of the last disappointment that I had, like, I don't need to have understanding. You did what you did because you did it.
Yeah.
And I love you and I release you.
But you go live with that.
Yeah,
I'm not living with that.
And then they always come back. Hey, what's up, girl?
Yeah.
There is no hey, what's up.
Same here.
We are not.
Same here.
We will never be the way that we used to be because now you've shown me who you are, and it's sad.
I always say I never lost a friend that I wanted back.
Ooh.
I never lost a friend that I wanted back because once you can only hide your hand for so long. Even if it is the long game, you can only hide your hand for so long. But once that palm shows and that blood is there and I seen it and you smack me with it, oh, okay, we're there.
Girl.
So therefore, you can stay there because I didn't like the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
And I don't like the way that I feel about you now.
Yep.
Because I can't see anything else.
I can't trust.
And that's why I tell them, they're like, you know what, if your husband cheat on me, would you leave? Absolutely. And I say that because I don't know if I could ever see him the same. I don't know if I could look at him the same. And that was a choice that you made.
Yeah.
And because I know you're an analytical and a chronological thinker.
Yeah.
You thought about it before you did it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't get them, oh, well, he's slow.
I don't know what
happened.
happened.
He's slow. You know, things just happen.
Mm-mm.
And no, things just, with Marcus, things just don't happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything he does is calculated.
Yep.
Everything he does is planned out and he thought about it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I feel like I would have to, even if I didn't want to, I feel like I would have to.
Yes.
Just like a friendship. You put me in that position. You intentionally hurt me. You did it on purpose.
Yes.
And you'll do it again.
Yes. And if it wasn't on purpose, that's worse.
Yeah, that's
because
worse.
now you aren't even aware enough to understand.
No, now I see you as retarded. Gone. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, because you didn't think about me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You didn't think about what it would do to me.
Yeah.
You didn't value our relationship
at
all. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
you thought about yourself, which means you'll always think about yourself.
Yep.
And I don't want to be in that type of relationship because I'm not that type of person.
Yep.
Or if I am a little selfish, which I have shown to be, you know it already.
Yes.
You know, in certain situations, I'm going for mine.
Yep.
You know what I mean? As long as it doesn't do anything to hurt you.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, that's it.
And it's for the betterment.
Yes.
Like, and this is the thing too. I feel like when you are a high value person, one of the things that I'm always doing is I like watch my colony. So my colony, my friends, my family, and I'm always seeking, what does this person need? What does this person need? Where does this person need accountability? How can I help this? Does this person need that? Maybe I should throw this over here. I'm literally always like it's 1,000 movements. Like what you said, I'm in the bed and my mind is just going. It's 1,000 things of how things are working. The truth is
how I can serve.
Yes. Well, yeah, I really do believe in service. Like the law of reciprocity is real. You know, I almost feel like I've been raised in a way to so much give that it's a part of who I am.
Yeah.
But living in Atlanta, Georgia, people are like, well, what's the agenda? What does she want from me? Nothing.
Yeah.
Because
nothing.
there ain't really nothing anybody could do for me anyway.
Let's just go eat.
Like,
Let's just go eat. But then again, on the flip side, I've had both sides of the coin.
Yes, me too.
To where somebody is looking for something and they just want to take and not give anything. And I'm just giving everything. And it's like, damn, there's no reciprocation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but for the most part, especially being in this position, it's like, okay, everybody wants something. It's like, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Right. And to come by somebody who just genuinely is like, look, I don't want nothing. I'm okay with my position. I'm okay where I'm at. We've had employees. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not running the same race as us. We pay you to do a job.
Girl.
Do your job. You know what I mean? Like, so we've experienced I have experienced a lot of that to where it's kind of made me like, okay, I have to put certain people in boxes, which is something I've never in my life wanted to do. I feel like if we can't operate genuinely and coexist and do these things, but living out here, you have to.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you have to. So I get what you're saying in its capacity, but like literally all I've done was serve until my acts of service were abused. You know what I mean? Like I give and give and give and it's still not enough.
Yeah.
And now I've handicapped you and hindered you from the possibilities of what you could have done if I would have said no.
Oh.
Because there's power in no.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And learn that years later, you know what I mean? But it is power in no.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
I get that.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, girl.
We can go on and on
Period. Okay, so I have 2 questions left for you.
Okay.
And I can't believe how fast this has gone. It's already been an
know.
hour. I'm like, what in the world? So my first question is, how would you define a high value feminine woman?
A high value feminine woman, to me, wholeheartedly, is a woman who knows herself,
Ooh.
who knows her wants, who knows what she won't tolerate, who has a heart,
Yes.
who acts of servitude is at the highest tier. You know what I mean? But just somebody, because I feel a lot of people, us as humans, we don't know ourselves, right? So to me, a high value woman can tell you what, when, where, when, and how.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and stand in that and
Yes.
stand on that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And not let anyone take her from that. In a sense.
I love it. And I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah, I know you do.
Ooh, girl, yes. Okay, I have
do.
one. Actually, I lied. I have 3 different questions.
Okay.
Okay, so my first question, I got to look at my notes here. We have this part of the show where we go, it's giving versus it's giving. So I'm
Okay.
going to give you something positive versus something negative. And you
Okay.
have to tell me which one you would choose and why. Okay, so here
Tell
we
you
go.
if it's negative or positive.
Like like I'm going to give you the negative or give you the positive.
Okay.
Okay. These are fun.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Let's say, okay. This is one's about parenting.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say your daughter,
Mhm.
your oldest daughter, you guys are at the house chilling, and you're like, all right, it's time for you. You guys have been watching movies, having family time. And Marcus is there too. You guys are all just having nice little family time. And now it's time to get up and go to bed. And she throws the biggest tantrum and says, I don't care what you say. I'm not going to bed. It's giving. Girl, you about to get mopped in this house.
What?
Or it's giving, okay, gentle parenting. We can give you 15 more minutes.
Okay, let me be real.
Yeah.
Because there's a fine line with that. It depends on where we are.
Yes.
In the night. It depends on how I'm feeling.
Yes.
Right? But for the most part, that is disrespectful.
Yes.
Right? We don't do that. If you want to stay up a little longer, you ask me.
Yes.
You don't tell me and throw tantrums. But now because you've thrown a tantrum, take your in. There we go. You have to talk to your children and you have to explain to them so they understand that you're just not being a bully or, you're just trying to tell me what to do and you just know I want to stay up. No, let me explain to you why and let me tell you how we respond to things.
Yes.
And plus my children don't throw tantrums. We don't do that.
I know that's right.
We do not do. If you ever see them doing that, call me. Let me know.
Everybody's about to get snatched up real quick, girl.
What? Ain't none of that. No.
Okay. One more of these fun ones. You're on a trip with Marcus, just the 2 of you guys.
Okay.
And you're in, let's say Mexico, and you realize that before you guys are going to get out to go have fun in Mexico, whichever place you're in, he says, oh, babe, I forgot my toothbrush and I used yours this morning. I know. It's giving. Oh my God. Let me go get a new toothbrush.
Let's go. Let me go find a new toothbrush.
Okay.
I don't care if y'all been married for 50 years. That is just disgusting.
I can't do it.
It's disgusting. No.
Really
and don't let nobody lie to you because they lying and tell you, yeah, we can share and woo. No.
I just feel there's something different about mouth
I would get a
bacteria.
towel and brush my teeth.
Period. Or my finger.
You can have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'll get a washcloth and just try to get in here or something.
Mouthwash.
There's no way I'm using anything.
Do it.
No. That's girl. Love you, honey.
Right. Still no. Okay.
Not that. No.
I love that.
No.
Okay. Final question. So here at the It's Giving community, we are avid readers and we talk about books all the time.
Well, I'm just telling. I do audio. I don't read. And I'm not good with names. So.
Okay. Well, what book has changed your life and why?
I don't even have one.
No,
I don't. I can't. So if I can think about one to where I kind of flip through the pages,
or audio is okay too.
I forgot the name of it. I'm so bad with names.
What's it about?
It's like an affirmation book. Like I love affirmation books.
Yeah.
Like my forms of therapy are therapy coloring books. So I have a thing of colored pencils and to decompress.
Yeah.
I'll colors abstract.
Are they different from, are therapy coloring books different from, like, is it an actual therapy coloring book?
Yeah, it's a therapy coloring book.
What does that mean?
It's just therapeutic, for people, you know what I mean? To decompress, release. And I feel like, okay, I'm thinking too much. I'll just get to it in my office.
I love that.
Yeah.
Where can someone buy something like that? Amazon?
Walmart, Target, Amazon, especially Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I got a couple off Amazon.
Some links down here. Girl,
Amazon.
We have to do a part 2.
We do.
We have to do an hour is not enough.
Because I didn't let you know a little bit about my business, him500diy.com, where we allow people to repair their credit for free.
Yes.
So it's a lot we didn't go into. I told you I didn't want, you know what I mean? But on the surface, it's okay.
Yes. I love that. I love that. We're definitely going to bring you back, girl. You brought nuggets. And what I love the most is through your story, you teach.
Yes.
You're just sharing who you are, but there's so many powerful lessons, like how to be high value, how to be in servitude, how to stand for who you are, how to claim who you are, how to build that self-awareness, all of those different things. So I just want to say thank you so much.
But thank you for having me.
Yes.
This was fun.
We're going to do a part 2.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, guys, if you have made it this far in the show, thank you so much for watching. If you have not yet, make sure to hit that little button so you can get subscribed. Hit that little bell so you get a notification with each new piece of content. And if no one has told you today, you are freaking phenomenal. Bomb.com. Nothing can stop you but you got to do something about it. Love you guys. Bye.